Antipolo town, huh? We've been in Tete. Last time, Tete. So, any of you are practicing Ashtanga Yoga? Anyone here practicing Ashtanga Yoga? Here he's practicing Ashtanga Yoga. What type of yoga? What do you do? Stand on your head? Submerge yourself in water? Actually, it's interesting. When I heard it was a Ashtanga Yoga studio, then we know in the Bhagavad Gita, there's one chapter. It used to be called Ashtanga Yoga. It's not, strictly speaking, a chapter on Ashtanga Yoga. It does cover, in brief, some of the, practices of Ashtanga Yoga, but it covers the ultimate goal of Ashtanga Yoga. The goal of all yoga is basically the same. Different practices, maybe people have a different idea what the goal is, but in its origins, all yoga is really meant, well, the very word yoga means, what does the word yoga mean? What does it mean? Yoga. Yeah, you got it. You got it. He got it. You got it too? Unite. Means to connect, link up, unite. To link up. Yoga is really, it's not a physical practice as such, although the body, the physical body is no doubt utilized in all forms of yoga. The mind is also utilized. But it's not so much uniting or linking the body or the mind, it's the soul, the connection of the soul. Yoga is meant to connect the soul to the Supreme Soul. That's the idea. The process of reconnection or linking. Yoga means to literally to link, to yoke. The actual word, if you take it literally, means yoke. You may have seen, sometimes you have still, maybe in the farms, some of the farmers will use buffalo to plow the fields. I don't know. They still do here sometimes. Some farms they use buffaloes or bullocks.
Mostly caravans.
Pardon?
We have caravans here.
Car bums?
Caravans. Just like a bull.
A different type of animal. It's like a bull, a kind of a bullock, but not the same, huh?
Right.
Some breed, mixed breed. So when the farmer puts this thing on the neck, they say they're yoking the bullocks or the buffaloes, those yoke, connecting them to the plow. There's a connecting, system of connecting. So chapter 6 of the Bhagavad Gita, sometimes it's called Sankhya Yoga. Sometimes it's called Ashtanga Yoga. This is the Ashtanga Yoga. Eightfold yogic path. Huh? And some now it's called Dhyana. This is also the path of knowledge. They're all true because the essence of yoga is knowledge, and not just knowledge of this world, but absolute knowledge. So we'll begin with a little kirtan, and then I thought we'll read something from the 6th chapter, since we're in the Ashtanga Yoga studio. You guys practice yoga? You can practice yoga? A little bit? Yeah? You also? Very, very little bit. Most people think of yoga, obviously, world over. Most people have some knowledge of what yoga practice may be. Mostly it's Hatha Yoga rather than Ashtanga Yoga, mostly. Hatha Yoga is, you could say, like one step on the path of Ashtanga Yoga, with certain exercises, Exercises. Not so much focused on the mind or the mind control, but more exercises It's also mentioned here in Bhagavad Gita. So we have a little kirtan, but I might need some help holding a microphone. Not sure if I've got the cartels nearby.
Maybe you can sit.
Da, da, da. Some of you are not familiar, a little bit further away. Some of you are not familiar with the songs. Does everyone, I don't know if there's a sheet with a Maha Mantra on. Is there one here anywhere? No?
You're getting mantra sheets.
We have any little pamphlets with the Maha Mantra on?
Yes, ma'am.
That's what we require for preaching. We require little pamphlets explaining the simplicities of Krishna consciousness. In the West, we have all these little pamphlets explaining one reincarnation. Most people don't know what reincarnation is. Most people don't know what karma really is. Most people don't know what the nature of consciousness is. Most people don't know what the real essence of time is. And of course, most people know something about the environment, but they don't know the solution to the environment. So many different subject matters could be put into little pamphlets, which would be very useful, both in English and Tagalog, both, so that people can actually, in a nutshell. When they read a book, it's hard to get to the point. You've got to read the whole book. You have a little pamphlet with it written in, describing, the modes of nature, describing the movements of the mind, things like that, that people can easily see the main points like that. So mantra, love, yoga, all these things, people have vague idea of what they mean, or the wrong idea. Mantra, for instance. If someone says mantra, they may have some idea of mantra. What is mantra? It's not the name of a hotel. I don't know if you have mantra hotels here, but they're quite common in Australia. You have mantra hotel here? No? They're quite common. Mantra hotels. And guru, another word, they have their computer gurus. They're basketball gurus. Right? They're gurus for everything. They use the word very lightly, but the word is not a light word. The very word means heavy. It's supposed to be heavy in knowledge. But it's not just a description of somebody who's your teacher in a particular... It is a word which is sometimes, like in Indonesian, Bahasa Indonesian, the word guru means teacher. Maybe in Tagalog, I don't know if it has a similar meaning. Similar. Many of these languages in this part of the world are connected. It comes from Sanskrit, of course. It does also mean teacher. But to explain a deeper meaning of these things, little pamphlets, so in a very easy way for people to understand, which we can give away freely. People can help themselves. I think it would be a nice way to introduce the Krishna conscious philosophy. Most of the people in the Philippines are, they're not highly intellectual. They're quite simple-hearted and nice and kind-hearted, open-hearted. It's actually a very good state for accepting Krishna consciousness in many ways. I think that'd be a nice idea. Someone might think about it. I'll mention it to the BBT. And mantra. So what does mantra mean? some of you have heard this over and over again. What does it mean? Oh, you're from China. No, from China you're not allowed to answer. They know everything over there. They're very highly educated. What is mantra? Come on, some of you local Punos? Punos? Is that what you call it? Puno? Are you a Puno? Called Puno? What's the local people called? Punos? Punos? What's it they call it? Let's see. Yeah.
Mantra. It's a combination of two Sanskrit words, man and tra.
My God.
Man means mind, tra means freedom or deliverance.
Wow. We have a Sanskrit scholar with us. Wow. The breakdown of two words, man and atra. Mantra. Tra. This word, tra. Control. Kshatriya. Same derivative. They're supposed to control society, the kings. Kshatriya. So mantra meant to control the mana. Mana in Sanskrit is mind. The mind. Control the mind. Can you control your mind? Sometimes, kind of. You know, one thing when you try to control the mind. Now, so have you ever felt sometimes you get so absorbed in a subject you forget where you are? Generally a subject you're very interested in, or something which is necessary, isn't it? And you completely absorb yourself in it, isn't it? There's a stage of yoga, mantra yoga, is absorption. There are different stages. When the mind is completely absorbed. Materially, sometimes we get that too. You become completely absorbed in a particular thing. In that way, your mind is controlled. Because you're absorbed. It's something which you're very attracted to, or you have a great inkling to study or something. So it's that kind of absorption which is you could say, the process is not just about withdrawal. It's not even if some of you have maybe experienced drugs, I don't know. But if you're really addicted to drugs, you can't very easily just withdraw. There's a process, isn't there? And the process has to include, generally speaking, something alternative, an alternative. Whether it's smoking, drinking, drugs, whatever it is, some alternative which fills the gap. An alternative. It's not just about, no, stop. Maybe you can do that, but it's not very easy to say that. Crime is another one, very difficult. Gambling, another one, very difficult to give up once you're hooked, so to speak. Very difficult. So there's an alternative which we need. So this is an alternative. Krishna consciousness movement. It's not just material alternatives, it's meant to be the absolute alternative, but it's an alternative to our addictions in this world. If we become absorbed in it. If we're not absorbed, of course, it's not going to be so effective. But to be absorbed. So, like that, to control the mind. 6th chapter particularly is about controlling the mind. So we have this mantra, and this is particularly recommended, as most of you know, in this day and age that we are living in, not just to control our minds, but to purify our consciousness. Not just to purify our consciousness, to free us from karma. Not just to free us from karma, but to awaken self-realization. The purpose of all yoga is self-realization, to realize the self. It's not just to become fit and healthy. The most people, yoga is a very nice, peaceful, effective way to be fit and healthy and feel good in mind, more or less, feel good. The door on the sign on the door says, come in as you are, but just leave your ego at the door. Most people, there's another one you can talk about, ego. Most people's understanding of ego is not very deep. It's not actually correct in most cases. It's not what they mean is the word ahankara. In the Bhagavad Gita, the word ahankara is mentioned a few times. It means false ego. Akara means ego, but aha means false ego, false identity, false ego. We're proud, we're envious, whatever it may be, due to this false identities. So leave that at the door. The ego is the very self, the pure self. In this material world, we have false ego. We identify ourselves with, what's the word Maya mean? You know, most of you have heard the word Maya. What does Maya mean? Maya. Who knows what Maya means? Some people's name's Maya. I think people in Philippines, some people have the name Maya.
National bird.
Huh?
Our national bird.
He's too brainy, this guy over here. He's too brainy. What does the word Maya mean? Come on. Don't be a pretty face. Come on. I'm sure those tattoos, you must know who you are. What's Maya? Illusion. That's one, you could say, effective meaning of Maya. You're an illusion. Being eluded. What's another more direct meaning?
Material energy.
Huh? You could, well, yes and no when you say material energy. You could say that.
That which is not.
There we have it. Literal translation. That which is not. Which is, of course, related to illusion, and when we take ourselves in relation to the material world, then obviously that's Maya, if we only see ourselves in that way. But it's that which is not. In other words, we are thinking, as we discussed yesterday, that I am this body. I am this body. It's a general understanding that people have. So, these different terms, Maya. So yoga is to bring us to our real identity, not the false one. And it's not just to give up the false one and become like a nothing or something. In Buddhism, I see no Buddha is with us today, that in Buddhism it's mostly nihilistic. There are different schools in Buddhism, but mostly it's nihilistic, which means literally annihilation. The word annihilation is linked to nihilism. And Buddhism is mostly nihilistic, which means after this illusion, there is nothing. I don't find that a very inspiring, let me say, what's the word? Objective, that there be nothing. Once you come to self-realization, there is nothing. You do not exist. It's not a very inspiring perspective, huh? Not to me anyway. Most people don't really think about it deeply, I suppose. And there are many different aspects of that. But generally speaking, it's not about just stopping the material world. It's like, say for instance, if you're sick, if you have a disease, say you've got a terrible, I met one of the brothers, maybe they're here today, they had brain cancer. They recovered. Now, if you come to me, I'm Dr. Harry Ball. Here they are. Here they are. And bodyguards have arrived.
Sorry,
Are you late? Okay. So you come to me, I'm doctor, doctor, I've got brain cancer. Don't worry, I can solve it. Close your eyes. No more brain cancer. Finished. I don't think that you would like that solution. You won't feel brain cancer anymore, by the way, but you want to cure it, right? You have stomach ache, so I cut your stomach out. No more stomach ache. You have some other ache, but not the stomach one. That's not the idea. The idea is cure. So it's not to destroy the ego, but to cure us of our false ego. Remove the disease and you feel good. Huh? So like that. So Bhagavad Gita, teaching of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna consciousness, is to bring us to the real healthy state. Yes, the material one too also, by the way. We should be materially healthy. But primarily to bring us to the spiritual health, where you can realize and experience your actual nature. The actual nature of the ego, let's say ego is not the right word, the real nature of the self is to be living in the state of consciousness of eternity, bliss, and knowledge. Would you like to die if you're feeling blissful, full of knowledge? And well, you won't die if you're eternal. But if you have this idea that I'm eternal, you're not going to want to die if you're blissful, are you? Generally, if people are blissful, they don't contemplate suicide, for instance. People who are depressed contemplate that. But if you're blissful, you want to carry on, don't you? Give us the bliss. I want the bliss. You know the word bliss? Is it a word used here? Bliss? When you're bliss is like the extreme of happiness, ever expanding happiness. You won't want to give that one up. Our basic desire is focused on that principle of wanting to be happy, isn't it? People want to be satisfied. Who doesn't want to be happy? Hands up, all those who don't want to be happy, who do not want to be happy. I mean, what is happiness? I mean, it will vary from one conditioned soul to the next, but the principle is the same, that we want to feel good. We want to feel satisfied. We want to be... Peace is another term which is obviously seen differently by different people, but in general, peaceful. We don't want to be turbulent and flying around all over here and there. We want to be peaceful, the mind peaceful. And we certainly don't want to die. So unfortunately, you can't find that in the material world because it doesn't exist. There's no real peace in the material world. There's no question of eternity as far as staying in a particular body is concerned. The energy is eternal. There's no question of absolute happiness in this world, only relative happiness. And knowledge is also relative. Everybody likes to know, don't they? Don't you like to know what you're doing? Wouldn't you like to know who you are? Wouldn't you like to know where you're going? Would you like to know how to cure the problems of life? Would you like to know where you came from? I know where you came from. You came from different places. Bulacan. He came from Bulacan. He came from near Taguig. Some of you came from Pasig. Some of you, a lot of you came from Quezon, I noticed. Quezon City. Because Quezon City is very big, isn't it? Extremely big area. Almost half of Metro Manila's, area-wise, is Quezon City. Anyone from Marikina? Marikina! No one from Marikina. Mahendra's from Marikina. What's he doing? He should have preached. Everyone in Marikina. So we like to know. You like to know. If you want to go somewhere, you like to know how to get there, isn't it? Is that right? It's not very easy. If you don't know how to get there, you may want to go there, but it's not easy to get there if you don't know how to go there. You go round in circles, maybe. Maybe by chance you will reach there eventually. You know, it's possible. But it's a one-off chance. It's not like it's going to happen every time. You know, you want to go from here to Bicol. That's an easy one, because once you get onto that little thing, you just keep going. You kind of can't end up anywhere else because there's nothing beyond it. You know, it's like a point. But still, you have to know which way to go: north, south, east, west, like that. Direction. So Bhagavad Gita gives us direction. It gives us knowledge. It gives us the means to become free of the false ego. It gives us knowledge how to be free of our karma. It gives us, what else it do? Knowledge of what? We talked the other day. Even time. One of the main subjects of the Bhagavad Gita is time. It's a big topic. It gives knowledge of how the material world works. Who is God? Everyone says God, 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 but you ask somebody actually who is God. Something is there, of course, but it's not very personal. God is the creator. God is the Lord of everything. What else do you say about God? What else can you say about God? Come on. God is the creator. He's the Lord of everything. What else is he? Most of you are brought up in Christian Catholic backgrounds or Muslim backgrounds or some background of religiosity. What is God? Who is God? Don't say a Krishna conscious answer. Please. What is an answer for most people? Say, who is God?
God is our provider.
Okay, he's the provider. Is another one. He provides everything. Huh?
Omniscient.
He's omniscient. He's all-knowing. He's everywhere. There's nothing untrue about this, by the way. It's true. At least according to all scriptures and realized souls. But there's more to it than that. You know, it's like us, you know. We're more than just a provider or, you know, a controller or, you know, we're not omniscient. We can't claim to be, but if we were, we're more than that. You're a person. If you say, I love you, I love my wife because, or the wife says, I love my husband because he provides all I need. It's not a very personal relationship. I love my husband because he controls me. Probably the opposite. I love my husband because he doesn't control me. I control him. I love my husband because he doesn't create anything much. Maybe he creates something of use. But you know, it's a very kind of like external and shallow understanding. It's true, but it's not very deep. So the idea is to understand the nature of God to the full extent. And we can't understand everything by any means. Full extent means in relationship to our own selves. You don't need to know more than that, because you'll be fully satisfied. Other person have another relationship. But to understand one's relationship, what is one's relationship with God? A very enthusiastic little girl. Oh yeah. Oh, that's your daughter. Wow, look at that. She's very enthusiastic to find out what's on the other side of the room. To her, this room is like the universe, more or less. Isn't it? Haribo! Haribo! Okay, we're going to chant a mantra. So if you're not familiar, bear with us. I don't have any pamphlets. And we're saying, first of all, in all forms of yoga, traditionally there is a guru. There is a teacher, an expert who guides us on the path. Nowadays, it may not be so deep. Anyone can get a certificate to be a yoga teacher. How many of you have got a certificate to be a yoga teacher? You do? Okay, now we know we've got a real... Let's see you do some yoga. Oh no, you've got a dhoti on. If you had your pants on, you might not be able to do it properly with a dhoti on. What yoga can you do? Let's see you do some yoga. Now, Emile from France is going to demonstrate yoga. He's just, in December this year, he arranged to distribute about 1,000 Bhagavad Gitas to yoga studios in France. Something like that. So just do a quick demonstration. Come on. Better do something. You're sitting there. You haven't got your yoga gear on, but something which doesn't require legs in the air.
No legs in the air.
No legs in the air, otherwise you might get in trouble. There is a crab has arrived. There's a crab posture. This is a very simple one. Many of you do this. I used to do this all the time. I never studied yoga, but I knew a little bit about yoga. But it's a common exercise. I think it's infiltrated into the Western world. Now that's one he's not doing very, dangerous yoga postures there. That's a simple one. Almost anyone can do. Almost. You may not be able to go to that extent, but you can do it somewhat. It's very, very good for the back, so many different joints and what have you. And there's so many different postures. And most people think yoga posture. So this yoga, mantra yoga, which we're going to now do, is a little different. This is vibration of sound. Sound. By sound. In fact, it is said that the creation comes into account in the beginning, Bible says, in the beginning was the Word. Interesting, huh? In the beginning was the Word. In the Bhagavatam, describes how the transcendental sound, Om. This is what it means. They say Amen. It's almost the same. It comes from Om. Om. Sound vibration. By sound, creation, believe it or not, begins. And from then many other evolutionary stages come from sound. And by sound, we can bring the material creation, not to an end physically, but an end in terms of our attachment to it, our identification with it, and the illusion which we're in. By sound vibration, you can go this way in becoming entangled, or you can go that way and becoming liberated. And it's not just getting liberated, as we said, it's to realize who we are and our relationship with God through sound vibration. Amazing. Sounds very simple. Sounds very simple. But it's not as simple as it is simple, but it's not so simple because we are very much attached on so many levels to our intellectual perception, to our mental desires, to our physical form, to the forms of others, to so many ambitions, you name it. So many things. Okay, we're going to sing now mantras. The Hare Krishna mantra being the primary one, particularly in this day and age, for achieving these purposes of yoga. Hatha yoga, Ashtanga yoga, Jnana yoga, Dhyana yoga, Raja yoga. So many original yogas are there, and they're mostly described in the Bhagavad Gita in brief. But they're not very recommended in this age, not for the objective goal. They may be good for health. They may be good for being a bit more peaceful. But they're not so effective in terms of self-realization or connecting with Krishna or God. Hare Krishna mantra is recommended in this age. Namo Namo. Mantras start with Om. Namo Vishnu Padaya. Try to hear. The secret of mantras is to hear. We may not be able to pronounce very well, but we should try our best to hear. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin iti namine Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Sarasvate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvasesha Sunyavati Pastacha Deshakarine Namaste Sarasvate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvasesha Sunyavadi Astachaditatharine. So those were three mantras to the Guru. The one who is teaching us, guiding us, enlightening us on this process of Krishna consciousness or Bhakti Yoga. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadada Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Gadada Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. This is a mantra addressing the forms of the Lord who's appeared in this age particularly. He appears in many ways, in many ages, in different places. For this form, he's brought what's called the Yuga Dharma, this Maha Mantra, to spread widely, freely, accessibly to everyone. And everyone has the privilege, the right if they want, to take this mantra and chant it. This mantra is the Yuga Dharma mantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Everybody, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Okay, let's try to chant together. Very simple. There's only 3 words actually in this mantra. That's why it's so simple for this age. It's not very complex. It's 16, but there's only 3 different words. Huh? One word is Hare. Hare. Come on, you guys. Hare. 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 Anyone here named Hari? Any Haris here? Any Haris? We sometimes say hip hip hooray. Okay, at the back. You yoga students? No. You 2 young men are yoga students? No? Where are you from? What do you do? Are you working? Working? Are they your friends? How do you do? You working together? They're not in your company? Pardon?
Businessman.
Yeah, in the business world. In the business world. This will make your business better. It can actually, many in the Western world, you believe it or not, in America, this Bhagavad Gita, not for spiritual reasons, there are many CEOs. You know what a CEO is? Company CEOs are actually applying the Bhagavad Gita in their work and teaching it in a materialistic way maybe. They're teaching the principles to their workers so they become more efficient, more effective, more peaceful, more reliable, you name it, more responsible. Yeah, it's become a fashion amongst many, modern, especially younger ones in this modern age, what do they call them? Anyway, people it will also help you in many ways, believe me. So just try it and see. Hare Krishna. Come on, you can do it. Hare Jai Krishna. 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 Hare 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 Rama. Hare Rama. 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 Hare. Hare. Only 3 different words. Pretty simple, isn't it? And you can chant it like mantra. You can meditate on it. You can chant it what's called japa. That means to yourself, like, meditative chanting. You can sing. You can sing it. You can say it. There's no hard and fast rules. You can chant it anywhere. That's another beauty about this type of meditation or yoga. It covers everything in our lives. It's not just something you go to a studio once or twice a week and perform yoga or practice yoga. You may do it at home for a while every day. But Bhakti Yoga is 24/7, if you want. And practically you can chant almost anywhere too. Of course, it's a little difficult sometimes at work. Sometimes I used to chant at work as much as I could when I was working. You can chant anywhere. You can chant in the train, in the plane, in the crane, in the drain. You can chant in pain. You can chant if you're insane. You can chant in Spain or Ukraine. You can chant in the drain. If you fall in the drain, you can chant there also. You can chant in loss and gain. Right? Anywhere you can chant. You can chant when you sleep. Many times we see or hear devotees in the middle of their speak, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. It's so simple and so pleasing, and anyone can chant. I've even seen animals participate in the chanting. I've even heard Ram coming out of a dog's mouth. Ram. Very rare, but occasion. Man, woman, old, young, black, white, it doesn't matter. It brings another effect, unity. People in general, I think, would like to have more unity in the world. That's why you have your United Nations, is it? I guess United Nations is meant for that purpose. But it's not really succeeding. As Prabhupada said, now every year there are more flags going up. More division. It's okay, you can have many flags, but there should be unity also. How to get that unity? This is unity. Unity is to be found not by a material method, some legislation, some philanthropic activities go on, but they don't bring about unity, at least not very broadly. Unity is a spiritual unity. When we realize what we have common between all of us, not just the material factors, but the spiritual factor. our very identity itself. We have a common identity. We're all eternal, spiritual, living entities. So the chanting of Hare Krishna reminds us of that, even if we're not realizing it. At least we're reminded of our spiritual identity. You just came from work. You ran here from work. I thought I drove you away last night. I didn't know if I was going to see you again after the way I treated you last night. 1:30 in the morning and I'm screaming at her practically. More than screaming. Getting on her case. Online. Anyway, we ended up here somehow or another. We made it. So, yes, unity. Spiritual unity. We talk about brotherhood of mankind. You know, we like to have loving relationships, don't we? But that can only be really completely fulfilled on the spiritual platform. So this mantra also helps us to see like that. When we absorb ourselves in hearing and chanting the mantra, all envy can go away. You may be sitting with your worst enemy. What's going on? You're looking at each other. When I said you may be sitting with your worst enemy, and you kind of turned around and looked at the person behind you as if they're right behind you there. I hope not. You may be sitting with somebody who hates you, somebody who does have totally different beliefs, whatever it is, but very different materially. But when we chant together, we don't even think about that. It means nothing. You come off that platform, you see, just by hearing the sound. Just try to absorb yourself in the sound. You don't have to do much else. The sound is not just like the sound bang, the sound alabang. Some of you are from Alabang. Where's the Alabangers? Here's an Alabanger. Alabang. It's not just like a bang, Alabang. It's not like that. This sound is very special. Golokera prema dana harinama sankirtan. This sound has come from the spiritual world. It's appeared in this world particularly, literally, to give us the association. It said that God appears. Now with our material senses, it's a fact, we can't see him. With material senses, we cannot see God exactly. We can see the effect of his presence, but not him personally. Therefore, he appears in a way that we can actually, you could say, connect with him, identify with him, relate with him. In one sense, see him, but not in the absolute sense, you could say. But at least from one sense, you could say that. Appears in a way through sound. Nama Chintamani Krishnas Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha. The name, this name, Krishna, is actually non-different than he. Our names are relative. You can change your name. Some of you have. It's not really us. It's an identity. It's the name of our identity. But Krishna is God himself. The sound is non-different than that's why it's called absolute. The named and the name are one and the same. So it depends on us. Like every relationship is a two-way affair. If we don't relate to the person, you don't really develop a relationship, or your relationship is distant or practically negative. So to develop a relationship is very simple. It's by being attentive, trying to hear the sound. It's not difficult. It's difficult because of our minds being restless. Our minds are just like old babies. It's like the baby never stays still, huh? Constantly on the move. Now she wants to play the harmonium now, which is not bad. Or she wants to have a walk on the harmonium, maybe. There she goes. The mind is like that. It never stays still. Flickering like the wind. Yeah, she's good. You're getting it good, young lady. Hare Krishna. So try to hear the sound and try to chant it. The chanting itself is also very powerful. The sound, without chanting there's no sound anyway. But then when we chant ourselves, it's engaging our senses, the tongue. The tongue is an important sense to engage. Yoga, now, all forms of yoga have one basic aspect. Whatever their goal may vary in some ways, but the aspect of controlling the senses. All yoga is meant to control the senses. And particularly, of course, yoga itself may not directly controlling the tongue, but it is indirectly, because the mind is coming under control, and the life ears and so many aspects of our being are under control. And so the tongue will also come under control. But the essential nature of yoga is to control the senses. So that we're not controlled. Mostly we're controlled by our senses. When you come along here, you pass, I don't know the names, but in most places, Chow King. You have Chow King here. You have Burger King.
Yes.
You have McDonald's.
Yes.
You have Kentucky, KFC.
Yes.
What other ones do you have? You have Starbucks.
Jollibee.
Huh?
Jollibee.
What's that? Jollibee. She knows them all very well. Jollibee. And then all kinds of other ones too, isn't there?
Pizza Hut.
Different, huh? Pizza Hut. You know, and maybe not for you, but for many people it's like your mind goes there. Your mind goes into the store, right? Flies into KFC or Jollibee or whatever it is. Donuts, something, Dunkin' Donuts or something. Into some store, you know, it's like we're attracted, right? Ching. You see the big bill advertising these things. Funkin' Donuts. I don't know if you have that one here. Your mind gets captivated. Usually there's a beautiful girl there advertised. Picture is a picture to capture your attention even more. The nature of the material world, we're all being drawn here, drawn there, drawn there, drawn there. All over the place our mind is going. And those impressions stay in within us, then when we're not even there we start saying the thought comes up. Something we saw during the day and this and that. So we're trying to, that means you're not controlling your mind, you're controlled by your mind. All these various temptations around us. Means we're controlled by the mind. We're not free at all. We're controlled. We're chained up by the senses and mind. So yoga is to free us from that bondage. Chindanti kovadas dasya kona kriya katara. Cut that knot which we're all bound by. Cut that knot. Free us. Yoga is to free us from this bondage. So let's try chanting again for a little while together. Please join in. You haven't got much to lose. You're already here anyway. Don't worry, you're not going to turn into a cabbage. You come out of here. What's happened to you, sir? Don't worry, you won't become like that. Well, sometimes maybe, but not usually. We hope not. That can happen anywhere. We're going to chant a tune. Now today, you see this picture in the middle here. This is a picture of one of the greatest teachers of this yoga, Bhakti Yoga. His name's Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati. Today is the day we honor his appearance day. Anniversary, you know, just like we have Christmas or Muhammad's appearance day or whatever it may be in the calendar which we honor. So we honor his appearance day today for his appearance in the world. So he liked very simple tunes when we sing. So we're going to sing a very simple tune now, one which, little tiny pictures there. Srila Prabhupada, our spiritual master, who brought this mantra chanting, this Krishna consciousness to the Western world. He came to the Philippines in 1971. There was a Hare Krishna temple in Manila in 1971. It was in a suburb of Manila, Metro Manila, called San Juan. Now, I think you all know where San Juan is. Not a very big one, but it's the one there in the middle. And the first Hare Krishna temple in Manila was in San Juan. Please come in. And since then, the temple has moved to many locations. Merville, Makati, Taguig, maybe some other places. So he brought this to the Western world, and he simply sat alone in a park in New York City, chanting Hare Krishna. They have a lot of parks in New York, not quite like Manila. Lots of parks. So he sat in one of those parks alone in 1966 and chanted Hare Krishna mantra. Later on, the Beatles, George Harrison, John Lennon, and others began chanting also. And then many young people began chanting all over the world, including Philippines. There are movies and so many things made about chanting Hare Krishna. It became quite known all over the world. And there were records were made of the Hare Krishna chanting, and they became the best-selling records in many countries. This was late 60s, early 70s. Top-selling record in many European countries was the Hare Krishna mantra, including communist countries, Russian countries at the time. In fact, a New York newspaper it's called the TASS. It's the main newspaper in, not New York, in Moscow, Russia, communist times, newspaper called TASS, biggest newspaper in Moscow. Headlines: the greatest threat to communism. Headlines: greatest threat to communism, rock music and Hare Krishna. That's what they printed. The greatest threats they perceived, because the young people in Russia were taking to rock music, and it included Hare Krishna. They obviously knew about the Hare Krishnas. It was spreading like anything underground, illegally in Russia. There you go. Anyway, it became, they used to play it at the football matches during the interval. Many times during the middle of the football match, they have a break, and they would play the Hare Krishna record to the crowds. They didn't know what it meant. It was just a popular music. Popular music. There were different theatrical performances in big theaters in London where the artists would start singing Hare Krishna, the actors. It was the in thing. It was the in thing. Hare Krishna was the in thing in the late 60s up to about 71. The thing to do, chant Hare Krishna. Don't hear it so much like that now. Devotees were going out on the streets. People thought there were millions of us. There were only about 50 of us in the whole of England. But we were out chanting on the street minimum 8 hours every day of the week. Going everywhere. Oh my God, I saw you in Nottingham. Oh, I saw you in Birmingham last week. I saw you in Manchester. I saw you in Glasgow. I saw you in London. I saw you in Bristol. I saw you in Oxford. There must be thousands and thousands of you guys. You're everywhere. Just to have maximum 40 or 50 devotees in England at the time. But we were so visible. Everyone was seeing us. Pretty much every city in the country was seeing us sometime or another. So Prabhupada was alone in 1966, and from there, that humble start, he went with no money to New York, of all places. He's from India, from Bengal, and he went on a free boat ride to America, and then he just started to try to chant, start chanting, to share the chanting, and distribute the literature, like the Bhagavad Gita, for instance, to the people of New York. And after about a year, some people became really serious, and from there it became road all over the world. Some of them came here to Manila and started here. Okay, this is the tune he sang in the park. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. All together.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama.
Come on, you lazy boys, open your mouths. Come on. Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama.
Give me that cushion. You had a cushion here before. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna,
You're already using it.
Who's using it?
Yes.
Huh? What?
The guest.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, No, don't do that. I'm using it for yoga. I'm going to use it for yoga. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ashtanga Yoga Center, we better do some Ashtanga Yoga. Okay, get ready. You might need a mat because the floor is very hard. You're supposed to put down some skin. Traditionally they use deer skin from a deer that had died naturally. And they put that on the floor because it keeps tigers away. Are there any tigers in Antipolo? We have tigers here? No? No tigers? No? Okay, so you don't need to worry. But anyway, any kind of mat will do. I don't know if you really want. Emil is on the stone or the floor, and he's sitting in a partial, your back is not straight. You have to put your back straight. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says you have to go to a holy place like Antipolo. And in that holy place where there's no noise, no sound, quiet, you have to choose a nice spot, a smooth spot, and you have to face a particular direction. I don't know which direction we're facing, depending on the time of day. And then you have to sit. So let us sit. Let's sit in a nice posture. Now I've not practiced in this for many decades. So I do not know what the outcome will be. I did try it the other day, but I can't remember what the outcome was. They let me out of hospital the next day, I think. You'll have to help me down. Now, if you can't see, you'll have to get up. Oh, there we go. Oh, now we're down. The good thing about being down is you can't fall very. Humility is very favorable. If you're puffed up and proud, then you will fall. So everyone can sit cross-legged, I think, more or less. Not everyone can. Don't hurt yourself. Don't break your, knees or your hips or something. But if you can, let's see how many of us can do this. It said you have to sit there, you have to hold your back perfectly straight, eyes half open, and stare at the tip of the nose. And with a controlled mind, you have to focus your consciousness on the Lord in the heart. The Lord is in every atom. He's also in our hearts. Now, to aid that, there's a certain type of posture, believe it or not, which has an effect on the life hairs and the nervous system and the other systems in the body to help us to balance our consciousness. And there's another thing we're going to do in a second. Okay, whip your right leg over your left hip like this, okay? Simple. Not difficult. Now take your left leg, and this I haven't done for decades, so I don't know if it will work. I used to be able to do it without the hands. Now it's difficult with a dhoti on, I must admit. Come on, there we go. Not too bad. Not as good as it should be. It should be much better than that. But at least we're part of the way there. Is Vishvambara, as healthy as a fish. Trying to get his leg over there. There he goes. Not bad, sunshine. For an old man, that's not too bad. Yeah, some of you have got it pretty good. Wow, look at that. I've gotten too fat for this. Difficult for fat people. What to do. And then your back straight. You'd be surprised. It actually helps to pull the back straight anyway, doesn't it? You notice that? It kind of pulls your back. And then usually you sit with your fingers, in the right pose here. Like a real yogi. And you sit there for 60,000 years. Now, one other thing is you have to stop breathing. All your problems will be solved. Not as easy as it sounds, is it? But at least you can control your breathing. You get used to it after a while. Your knees are supposed to touch the ground, basically. Oh, not the knee, but the bottom of the knee there. Sometimes they're up in the air like this. But you get used to it. Practice makes perfect. We don't do this, by the way, but some devotees do. So breathing. You're expert at pranayama? You do pranayam? Yeah? Something? Who does pranayam? Anybody? In the Bhagavad Gita, this is also recommended. It's a form of controlling the senses. Establishing a kind of a balanced peacefulness within your consciousness and within your material mind and body. Sometimes you do one nostril at a time. You breathe out. And you breathe in. Slowly but surely, deeply. Then you can breathe out of the other nostril. Breathe in from that nostril, slowly. And then out. Hold. Like that. We haven't got, that's not the purpose of our session today. Actually, believe it or not, one of our great teachers named Sanatana Goswami in his Hari Bhakti Vilas recommends before mantra meditation a little pranayam. It helps to bring a little pacification to the mind, a little less disturbed. It's good when you chant the mantra, at least when we meditate on the mantra, to sit like this, or sit still, not to fly all over the place, running around as we usually do, but to be a bit peaceful. And a little easier to concentrate and to hear the sound. Now we're going to chant a little bit of japa together. Japa is personal, for your own hearing. What we did just now was called kirtan. It means congregational, chanting together loudly. This is also going to be a little loud, but it's normally quiet. We're going to chant it loud so that we can, let's say, chant together at the same speed. We normally chant on beats, but today we'll just chant. I can't hold both hands. One of my hands is on the microphone. So I'm going to put the microphone down and we're going to chant together. We think of the sound rather than meditate on the Lord in the heart. You can do both, but particularly the sound. It's said that Kali Kala Nama Rupa Krishna Avatar. That in this age that we're in, this is called Kali Yuga. In this age of Kali, the Supreme Person appears as Nama Rupa, the form of the name. We don't visualize so much sound being form, but they're completely related. Form comes from sound. And when we hear a sound, we often visualize the form behind it. If somebody says to us, Coca-Cola, you might think of Coca-Cola. Unfortunately, you probably do. Or if somebody says, whatever it is, the name of a person you know, you visualize that person. In a sense, all form is visualized in the mind. Because the form exists, therefore you have the vision in your heart or in your mind. So similarly, sound evokes that vision within our heart. Form has no particular meaning unless it has its reaction within the mental, on the mental plane. Om, wrong mantra. Om, we used to, when we were kids, youth, teenagers, we sit Om, 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 Om. Isn't it very peaceful, isn't it? You feel very relaxed and very kind of united. It's the original, it's the Omkar, is the original sound. It's not different than Maha Mantra. It's the pervasive form of the mantra, impersonal form of the Maha Mantra, you could say. But we're going to chant the Maha Mantra. Generally, those who are aspiring to merge into the supreme, all-pervasive Brahman chant Om, Om. We want to have a relationship with Krishna, so we chant his names. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Very simple. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Try to hear one mantra at a time. Try to hear one mantra, even if your mind wanders, but try to focus just on the one mantra you're chanting. Try to hear it. Try to feel it within your heart. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Now, because of our time, we have a very short time. We have to serve prasadam very shortly. We're going to now carry on with kirtan, chanting loudly. Is that okay? In the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna, the inquirer, asks of Krishna, the Supreme Being, the mind is very difficult to control. It's more restless than the raging wind. How do I control my mind? This process you've given me at Krishna is very difficult to perform. Very difficult. I can't do it, Arjuna said. I can't sit still like this for more than a few minutes or control my mind. My mind is restless. And Krishna says, yes, indeed, the mind is more restless than the raging wind. You know the raging wind? You get your cyclones here. Tacloban, 350 kilometer an hour winds. Sweeps everything away. One has to become just like a lamp in a windless place, Krishna says. Unwavering. A lamp which is unwavering, the flame is unwavering. Not easy. But Krishna says it's possible by practice and detachment. Practice is one thing, but without detachment it won't work. Because we're constantly filling our consciousness up with distraction. So that process is hard for people in this age. Any age, particularly this age. You're supposed to go into the forest or the mountains, some secluded place. Where do you find such a place? And now we have all the electromagnetic waves in the atmosphere, huh? All this modern communication vibrations. radios, active waves and so on, which disturb the mind. They automatically disturb your mind. We don't know it, but they're automatically disturbing our minds. One of the reasons people have such disturbed minds is because of modern technology. Not just because you're using it, but you're living in an atmosphere where it pervades everything. Internet, mobile phones, and whatever else they've got nowadays. It affects your mind, disturbs it. It's in the ether. The ether is vibrating like this. We can't see the ether. It's subtle, but it affects our minds. Or to speak, if you use it, the vibration, it's just so disturbing to the peace of mind. And the health also, the physical health is disturbed also. It changes the bodily metabolism to some extent. The cellular structure is disturbed. It's not natural. You can't find a place nowadays in this world. Pretty much you can't find anywhere. Everywhere is polluted. Even the mountains, the air, everything is polluted. So you can't find a perfect place. So wherever you are, you do your best. We try, if you can sit peace, if you can sit quiet, you try to choose a nice place, not a dirty place, a nice place, clean, and you try to make that like a sacred place where you can sit or stand, whatever you need to do, and try to chant and hear the sound vibration like that. And you immediately, some little effect is there. But if we sit for long, tremendous effect takes place in our consciousness. The problem is we don't do it. After a few minutes we're moving around again. But if you actually hear that, automatically the relationship with the sound wakes us up. It wakes the soul, and one starts to see, once you can say coverings for what they are. One can release oneself from those coverings for what they are. Well, Krishna releases us. If we hear him, he's a deliverer. He's not just the provider, he's also the deliverer. One who delivers us from birth and death, as he says in the Bhagavad Gita. Then the last verse of that 6th chapter, dealing with the mind, dealing with yoga, dealing with Ashtanga yoga, and other forms of yoga, and how we should, say, see things. The last verse, Yoginam apisarvisham matkaten antaratmana shwaravam bhajate yomam soma yakta tamo mataha. Krishna says, it's a Sanskrit verse. It was spoken in Sanskrit, ancient language. Krishna says, of all yogis, we should be using this now, of all yogis, he who abides in me with great faith, meditating upon me, worshipping me, making me the goal of their lives, he is the greatest of all yogis. He's the topmost yogi. So this is the highest form of the goal of yoga, is to meditate or focus, to meditate upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead, to have him focused in our hearts. That's the beginning of, let's say, that which is beyond, when we have that meditation within our hearts on the Supreme Lord, or seeing him all around us in the material world, in everything we see, relating everything to him. This is yoga. It's not extra. On the first verse of this chapter, Anashrita karma palam karyam karma karotya sanyasi cha yogi cha na niragnir chakriyaha. Krishna says that the real yogi is not one who cuts themselves off, who performs no work. No. A real yogi is one who performs work, but performs it in the right consciousness, without attachment to the results. This is the actual process. And that is bhakti yoga. We offer the results to Krishna. And so this chapter teaches some process. Every chapter has its different, you could say, angle of emphasis. And this chapter is mostly Ashtanga yoga. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. So we're going to have kirtan now, and we're going to ask maybe Vishwambar or one of you, who's the kirtan leader here? Who's the best singer and dancer here? Another type of yoga, dancing yoga. Who's the main kirtan leader here?
Adi.
Adi? Are you the kirtan leader? He says no.
You can try.
If you wish, we've got you to blame for being here today. Your guests have you to blame. They don't blame me. You tortured them today by bringing them here. Hare Krishna. Okay, Adi Guru is going to lead us in kirtan. Is that right? And if you want, Vishwambara Prabhu is going to get up and start dancing. And then those who wish will follow him. I won't be able to get up until the ambulance comes. Haribol. Hare Krishna. Okay, take it away. You may have to hold the mic. What about Haridas? You're a kirtan leader too. He's also a kirtan leader. Anyway, go for it. Come on. You're the host. You have to take the final blame.